Hello friends, and welcome to Life in Envelopes. I am Jennifer Bleecher. So my channel is all about budgeting, and what I'm trying to do with my channel is make budgeting more fun and more interesting by sharing my own budgeting experience. We are a low-income family. I am paid week to week and I have a variable income. So if those are things that you think you might be interested in, then please stick around, watch today's video, subscribe to the channel, and give this video a thumbs up. Okay, so I started this new thing where I do a whole Q&A time at the end of every video where I answer questions and comments from the previous week's video, and I'm going to continue to do that this week because we have some really good questions and comments and some really juicy ones that I can't wait to share my response with you. I can't wait to share my response to those questions with you, is what I'm trying to say. So in today's video, we are going to close out last week's budget. We are going to set up this week's budget. But before we get into all that, some big things have changed within a week. It's crazy how much life can change within just 1 week. But in last week, a lot has changed and it's going to affect my budget. And I want to give you a heads up about some big changes that have happened first before we get started. First of all, I received a small inheritance from my grandfather. He passed away in the fall, and I did a whole video where I talked about him and his life, one of my planning videos. I will try to find that video and link it in the description box below if you just want to hear a little bit more about his life. He had a fascinating life. But I did receive a small inheritance from him, and I was able to completely pay off that Visa debt with that inheritance. The rest of it we are going to use to purchase some nice gifts for Logan for his birthday. The money's all gone, but we were able to pay off that Visa, and I cannot tell you what a huge burden that is off of my shoulders. When I first inherited the money, I was thinking about what to do with it. I kind of thought I should do something special with it. I've always wanted to go to Hawaii. I was born in Honolulu, Hawaii, but we moved away when I was 1, and I've always wanted to visit there. So I thought about putting the money aside and saving up for that, but this debt has been weighing on me ever since we accumulated this debt in December. So it's just so exciting to not have that debt anymore. So that's what we ultimately decided to do with that. So the second thing I wanted to let you know is that we have decided to no longer do Buy Me a Coffee. There were several reasons why we decided to do this, but the main one is I've never really been comfortable with the whole Buy Me a Coffee concept. I was originally, my viewers asked me to add it so that they could tip me, and I am so honored that you want to support me, but you don't have to support me like that. You can support me. You support me when you watch my videos. You support me when you give me a thumbs up. You support me when you buy my Etsy products, but you don't even have to do that. Just watch my videos. That's all the support I need. So I've never really felt comfortable with that, and now that this one big debt is paid off, we have some savings in place. I just feel like we're at a good point to stop that. Okay, and the third thing I wanted to tell you about is I have decided to decrease my income. So that is going to affect my budget, and you're going to see today how I'm going to handle my new budget. I'm going to be making less each week, and I don't know how long this is going to last for. You know, as we've gotten back from the hospital and we've been able to set up some systems and organizational things in place, I feel like I'm getting to a better place where I'm finally getting caught up on Etsy orders, and I'm finally going to be able to get back to making more YouTube content. So when all of that comes along, I'm hoping to increase my income again, but at this point it is going to go down. So I wanted to let you know that that was happening, and since because of everything that's happened, decrease in income, paying off the Visa debt, no more Buy Me a Coffee, we are gonna just take a little break from savings challenges. We're going to just kind of live paycheck to paycheck without doing extra savings challenges for a little while we get settled. And then as my income increases, then we will bring those back. So, a lot of changes. Let's get into the budget, and then I'll get to your Q&A at the end of the video. Okay friends, so just a reminder, this year I am using the ERIN 8.5 by 11 monthly planner for my budgeting. All the stickers you see in here are from my Etsy shop, except for these ones. These stickers are from Cara Jo Plans, And I do have a link to her Etsy shop in the description box below, as well as a coupon code for all of my YouTube viewers. Also, I have an affiliate link with ERIN CONDREN in the description box below as well, and a link to my Etsy shop with a discount code for all my YouTube viewers as well. So everything I'm using is linked below, and anytime I have a discount code, it is also linked down below. Okay, so let's start with where we spent our money this week. So starting with bills. So we put our normal weekly $5. We normally put $5 a week towards garbage, and we put $10 a week towards Reliant Energy. So these are two bills that we pay with my variable income. We actually pay garbage $60 every 3 months, and Reliant $40 once a month. So we break it down for each of my paychecks since I'm paid week to week. We also paid $69 towards Google Fi this week and $99 for MetroNet. So Google Fi is our cell phone plan, and MetroNet is our internet for our house. Next up is our debt, and we put $142 towards loan number 2. Loan number 2 is a debt consolidation loan that we have, and we pay them $142 every week. We pay them every week instead of once a month in an effort to pay them off more quickly. We also put $50 towards our Visa. So we paid this before I paid off the Visa completely. So we still had that extra $50 payment towards Visa this week. Okay, moving on to food. So last week, we ended up spending $210 on food. Moving on to gas, we spent $20 on gas. Okay, next was miscellaneous. We spent $20 on miscellaneous expenses this week. Then for spending, we spent $50 on spending. That was $20 for me, $20 for David, and $10 for Logan. And finally, for our sinking funds, we were able to set aside $123 for our sinking funds this week. Okay, so let's see how this all worked out on the worksheets, starting with our monthly budget. So our monthly budget is our fixed expenses, our bills and our debts. And for us, the difference between bills and debts is a bill is something that we have to pay no matter what. A debt will eventually be paid off, but bills will always have to be paid. So my husband David, he's an evening janitor at a local elementary school, and he's paid a fixed amount once a month. His paycheck covers almost all of our fixed expenses. The ones that it doesn't cover, we cover with my week-to-week variable checks. So this week MetroNet came out. We budgeted $99, and that's how much it was. So then Google Fi was $69. We had budgeted $55, and it was $69. So the kind of plan that we're on is we have a very small amount of data, and we try not to use it. We try to only use Wi-Fi. If we're at home or if we're somewhere, we try to use their Wi-Fi, but we try not to use our data plan. So if we go over the small amount of data that we do have available to us, we do have to pay for it. So most of the time we're able to stay within our plan, but every once in a while we do go over. So we're currently over budget a little bit, but I'm not too worried. It's not a whole lot. How much is that? So $14. So right now we're $14 above budget. So not too bad, not too scary. Okay, let's close out week 2. So over here on the expense tracker, I write down all of our expenses for the week, and then I color code it by budget category, and I put a key at the bottom here. That way, when I go to close out my budget at the end of the month and I fill out this page, I have all of the information right there at the bottom. Okay, so moving on to our income. So I was able to bring home $600 last week, and that's going to be the last week where we were able to do that for a little while. And we did receive $30 in Buy Me a Coffee donations. So again, this is our final Buy Me a Coffee. We are no longer doing that. So altogether, we have $630 to work with. So these are sinking funds, and these are cash envelopes that we stuffed last week. And we stuffed exactly as much as we planned on stuffing. So that was 3 for Amazon, 7 for back to school, 10 for birthdays, 10 for car maintenance, $5 for car registration, $25 for Christmas, $3 for Sam's, $50 for vacation, and $10 for the vet. So altogether that came to $123. So $630 minus $123 is $507. Okay, moving up to our fixed expenses. So we had loan number 2 come out. This is exactly what we planned. It comes out every week automatically, and then the next 2 were cash envelopes, so that was exactly how much we budgeted as well. So altogether that was $157. So $507 minus $157 is $350. Moving down to food, we budgeted $210 for food. We spent $210 on food. Same for gas, it was 20 and 20. Miscellaneous was 20 and 20, and spending was 50 and 50. So altogether, we spent $300 on our variable expenses, leaving us with $50. And finally, we made a $50 payment to Visa, bringing our budget down to 0. That is my goal. At the end of every week, I want to be at 0, which means I have a place for all my money. Okay, so let's set up week 3. So there's going to be some changes. So first of all, my income is changing. I am now going to be paid $500 a week instead of $600. So that's a difference of $400 a month, which is a big difference. And right now that's my only source of income. So we're going to have $500 to work with. Okay, moving down to sinking funds. So I did have to make some changes here. We're not getting rid of sinking funds completely, but I'm only keeping the absolute most important ones, and I've changed the dollar amount to the smallest amount that I would need. So to start with, we have Amazon, and we're going to pay them $3 a week. Next is car maintenance. I just feel like it's really important to continue to save money for car maintenance because it's inevitable, and if I don't have the money on hand, we could go back into debt. So we're going to continue to put $10 to that every week. Then we have car registration. We put $5 a week towards that. Christmas. So I am keeping Christmas, but I'm going to decrease the amount that we're saving towards that goal. We are now going to save $20 a week for Christmas. Then I have Sam's Club. This is for my annual membership, and that's $3 a week. Then we have vacation. Now, I'm keeping this, but I'm decreasing it. We were paying $50 a week to this. Now we're going to do $30 a week. And then finally, vet. We're going to put aside $5 a week to vet. So all together, let's see how much this is going to be. That's $76. So 500 minus 76, that's $424. Okay, next up is fixed expenses. For our fixed expenses, we have loan number 2, and that is $142. Then we have garbage, which is $5. So as far as these bills go, I really don't have any flexibility in changing their amount. So where I had flexibility was my sinking funds and my variable expenses. So this category is staying exactly the same. $142 for loan number 2, $5 for garbage, $10 for Alliant. So altogether that is $157. So $424 minus $157. That is going to leave us with $267 to work with. So moving on to our variable expenses. We are not going to do other for right now. We're only going to try to stick to this budget for now. So I can put all of that $267 in our variable expenses. Our variable expenses are food, gas, miscellaneous, and spending. So $20 right away will go to gas. That's like our magic number for gas. It works for us. We put $20 of gas into our tank every week, and it works just fine. So I don't want to change that. I also don't want to change our spending money. That's 20 for me, 20 for David, 10 for Logan. I just don't want to change that if I don't have to. So now that, let's see how much that leaves me to work with. That's going to leave $197. While I would like to put all of that towards food, I just know that miscellaneous expenses are going to come up. They always do. So I need to save a portion of of what we have left for miscellaneous expenses. I think what I'm going to do is, I think I'll put $25 towards miscellaneous. So that's going to leave me with $172 for groceries every week, which sounds like a lot of money to me, like 172, but it also sounds kind of tough because I know that at 200 we were struggling a little bit, but I'm excited. I'm excited to try some new things and make it work. So we're gonna try. We're gonna try to do 172 for budget, for food, see how it goes. I think if I don't spend all of my miscellaneous money, I'll put it up towards food, but we'll just have to see how the week goes. I usually end up having to spend miscellaneous, so we'll see. Okay, so if I did that right, altogether that should be 267. And it was. Okay, so that is our new budget. We'll see how this week goes. I might come back next week and say, okay, that's not gonna work, and we might have to make more adjustments. Let's go ahead and do the cash envelopes. I won't be doing the saving challenges, but just to remind you, we have $1,000 in a cushion in our checking account. We have $1,000 emergency fund in our savings account. And this is all paid off. I'll have to update this, but I don't want to make you guys sit through that. But we have completely paid off this Visa card. So let's do the cash envelopes and then get to your questions. Okay, so we are going to stuff $186 today. So first I'm going to count and make sure I have enough. So 20, 40, 60, 81, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 186. Okay, so we're going to start with bills. We are going to put $5 towards garbage. So let's see how much we have now. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. So we're trying to save up 60, so we are doing great with that. We just paid the Alliant bill, so we're going to add $10 today, and that is it for bills. Okay, next up are our sinking funds. So starting with Amazon, we're going to add $3 today. So let's see how much we have saved up right now for Amazon. We have 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that is $30. So we have $30 saved up for our annual membership. We're just going to skip back to school for now. We're going to skip birthdays. I did take out the birthday money for Logan and my mom, so that money is gone. Car maintenance. So today we're going to add $10 to car maintenance. So this is just a placeholder. I have $100 earmarked in my savings account for car maintenance. When I do cash consolidating, I try to, anytime I can make 100, I put that into our savings account. So I don't have quite so much cash on hand. So currently we have 1, 10, 20, 25. So we have 125 set aside for car maintenance. Next is car registration. Car registration is going to get $5 today. So that's 20, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. So we have $60 saved for that. Next is Christmas. So today we've changed this amount. We were saving $25 every week. Now we're going to do $20 a week. So that's 1, 2, 20, 40, 60, 65, 70. That's $270. Next is Sam's, and we're going to put $3 towards that today. This is for our annual membership. 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And there's $30 there. Next is vacation. We're going to put $30 towards vacation. So there's 20 and 30. So for vacation, we have 1, 2, 20, 40, 60, 80, 300, 20, 40, 60, 80, 400, 20, 40, 40, 50, 60, 70, 470 if I counted that right. You can let me know in the comment section if I didn't count it right. But that's great. Our goal is 1,000, so we are almost halfway to that goal, which is super exciting. Okay, next up is vet. We're going to put $5 towards vet. So that is 120, 40, 50, 60, 70, 75. This is for Mark's annual vet visit where he gets all his shots and everything, but also if there's any emergencies throughout the year, we'd like to have money to cover those expenses as well. Okay, and then finally we have our spending money. So I get 20, Logan gets 10, and David gets 20. We're also going to put $20 aside for gas, and then miscellaneous, we have $25 to work with this week. Okay, that is it for our cash envelopes. Time to get to your burning questions. I'm so excited to answer your questions this week. But if you're logging off here, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you all again next time. Okay, before I answer these questions, I just want to say, you guys are amazing, and you're so like protective of me, and I appreciate that. Like when people stand up for me, like I cannot tell you how good it makes me feel to have people stand up for me. But I want you to know every question and comment that I'm sharing today, although I understand some of them can sound offensive, I am not offended by any of these. I think that they're interesting questions or comments. I have things to say about them, and I'm happy to answer them. Now, if I am truly offended by somebody, I just block them from my channel. I have a zero tolerance policy on that. Like if someone is truly offensive, I just block them. So I just want you to know that ahead of time. So I don't want you to like attack anybody down in the comments. So if you hear something and you think it was kind of offensive, it's okay. Just know that I'm okay. I don't find it offensive, and I'm okay. You don't need to defend me, and I appreciate it that you would even think of defending me. Okay, so this first question comes from Jen S. Just curious, if you have people sending you coffee money and have debt, why did you quit your teaching job to only have an Etsy shop if your means of living is struggling? Okay, so this is an excellent question, and I could not wait to answer it. When I first started this budgeting journey, I think 3 years ago now, I was a full-time teacher, and I had never intended to quit teaching to do YouTube and Etsy full-time. That was never my intention. My intention was to retire early at 55. That was my goal, to retire at 55. I'm currently 45. And so I wanted to get out of debt. I wanted to save money for I wanted to have some investments so that I could retire early and have some passive income. All that being said, COVID happened. There was a lot of political drama at my school. There was a lot of things that happened that I'm still like mentally coping with in those last few years of teaching that really hurt me mentally and emotionally. And I got to a point where I was making more money with YouTube and Etsy than I was with my teaching job. Now, that has fluctuated. Like that happened for a couple of months. Like the point where I decided to leave my teaching job, I had to finish out the contract. So I was like about halfway through that year, halfway through my contract, and I was making more money with Etsy and YouTube. And I thought, gosh, if we like get some stuff paid off, change some things around, I could just do this and I could have less stress from my teaching job. And I cannot tell you how lucky I am that that was even an option. And in fact, when I first left my teaching job, I intended to sub several times a week to bring in some extra income. But once I started doing this full time, I realized this was quite a bit of time, and trying to squeeze in extra, like whole days of subbing wasn't gonna work for me. Plus, at that point, I started to mentally deal with all the trauma that I had gone through. And I realized I really didn't want to even step foot in a classroom again. Like, it was bad, you guys. I've thought about making a video about some of the things that I had gone through, but then I don't see the point in it. It's just like, it wouldn't be productive. I don't feel like it would be productive or helpful in any way. So that's why I've never made a video about that. Plus, I don't want to talk about people like from my past. I don't know. I just feel like it's not right to do that. So I'm probably never going to make a video about exactly what happened or multiple things that happened. Maybe when I'm old. Just that I'm like far removed. I don't know. So I did think if I am going to get another job, and I might eventually get like another job or a part-time job, it's not going to be in a school. Like, I think it'd be really nice to be a receptionist or do some admin assistant work, something like that, something low-key, something I don't have to bring home with me. That would be wonderful. But I'm not there yet. I don't feel like things are so bad that I need to do that. So, and with everything that I have to do for Logan, I don't even see how I could do that. My son, my youngest, in case you don't know, my youngest son, Logan, he has a chronic medical condition. We started homeschooling him about 6 months into me being a work-at-home mom. And it just had gotten to a point where he literally couldn't go to school, and I just thought, this is ridiculous, I'm going to homeschool him. So we've been doing that ever since, and unfortunately we recently had a setback with his health and things have gotten even more restrictive. My time has become even more restrictive, and I just literally can't see me physically being able to leave the house to do a job. Like, who's going to take care of Logan? Like, there's just so many things. So I'm so lucky that this is even an option. The most important thing to me is being a mom and taking care of my family. And yes, that includes bringing income home so that I can do that, but it also includes being here when I need to be here. And that's the choice that I've made right now. So that being said, we talk all the time about how it's so funny, like, even though I'm bringing in less income than I used to, we are far wealthier than we were when I was teaching full-time. Like, when I first started this budgeting journey and I was teaching full-time, we weren't paying off debt. We were acquiring debt. Every month we were getting further and further in debt. We have come so far from that then. We have paid off many of our debts. We have reduced our car payment. It used to be $465 a month and we're down to $116 a month. We've paid off huge chunks of our student loans. And so many other things too, like this being able, I've talked a lot about spending money on groceries and how much we spend on groceries, and being able to spend as much on groceries now as we do seems like a huge luxury compared to where we used to be. We used to spend $400 a month on groceries, and it was painful. It was the type of situation where we would go in, we weren't doing cash envelopes, so we would take our calculator, we would put an item in the cart, we would calculate it, and once we got to 100, we had to stop. And if we went over 100, we had to take something out and put it back on the shelf. Like, it was really hard, and we've moved beyond that. We've moved up beyond that to a point where we're spending double that on groceries, and it feels so much better. So it's funny because even though I'm making far less money now than I used to make, I feel wealthier than ever. Like, we have a good life. Logan, David, and I are always saying, gosh, we are so lucky. We have this beautiful house to live in. We have a reliable vehicle. We have food for groceries. And these weren't things that we've always had. So we feel very blessed and very lucky. And I'm not afraid of losing my house. I'm not afraid of losing my car. Like, our biggest worry is spending more than $200 a week on groceries, which is quite a luxury, really, if you think about it. That's really a small problem in the grand scheme of things. Okay, next up is Rebecca Pride. She said, "Hi Jennifer, great video as usual." Thank you, Rebecca. "You mentioned in the last video about how hard it is to make your kids pay you back, and I totally get it. May I make a suggestion? If Jacob needs to borrow money in the future, take it from your Christmas fund. First off, that's the farthest event, which gives more time for repayment. But then, if he is unable to pay you back, you can let him know that that was his Christmas gift. This will still be helping him, but also teaching the value of money. I know there have been times where I have had to use money I've received for birthday or Christmas to pay bills. Just a thought. You're doing great. Have a blessed day." I just wanted to share that idea with you guys because I thought that was a great idea. I love that idea. Luckily, he hasn't had to borrow any money since he paid back the money he owed us. But yeah, going forward, if he needs to borrow money, I'll take it out of his Christmas account and let him know that. I just thought that was a great idea, so I wanted to share that. Okay, next up was Stayfly3000. "Hi Jennifer, depending on your local area, there may be a CSA, Community Supported Agriculture Group, that you can join. Mine only cost $5 per week for 8 to 10 pounds of produce. You don't get to pick it, of course, but they even offer eggs included in that price." Okay, so I did a little bit of research to see if I could find that here in my community, because that would be amazing. And I'm totally flexible. Like, I don't mind that I wouldn't be able to pick the produce. I will look up a YouTube video on how to cook it. Like, I'm totally fine with that. But based on my limited research, I couldn't find anything like that near me, but I'm going to do some more research because I'm thinking there's got to be something, right? There's got to be something like this near me. That is such a cool idea, and I definitely want to look more into that. Okay, the next question comes from Bree's Budget. Have you tried growing a small garden in the spring to help with produce costs during the slower months for Etsy? That could be an awesome way to incorporate science and environmental studies with Logan, as well as during the summer months, and you could count the supply costs as school supplies. Okay, so this is also such a cool idea. Now, I know nothing about gardening, but I responded to her already, but I think I could learn it on YouTube. Like, I feel like there's so much you can learn. Like, if you want to learn how to do something, just check out YouTube. I figured out how to change my front headlight of my vehicle by watching YouTube videos. Like, that's how I learned how to cook. And anyway, so I think that's a great idea, and I am definitely going to do that with Logan this spring and summer. We are going to start a garden. I don't know how big it will be, but I know for sure I want to grow tomatoes, if nothing else. So I'm looking forward to, growing our own produce and not having to purchase it from the store. Like, that is so exciting. So I'm very excited about that. Thanks for the suggestion. Okay, next question is from Lindsay B. You should do hauls of items you buy so you can write them off for your taxes. Okay, so I got this comment a lot from a lot of people. Like, people want grocery hauls, people want cooking videos, and I'm excited to do all that. I didn't know, I'm not sure how many people actually like those kind of videos, but it sounds like several of you would like to watch those kinds of videos, and it all goes along with budgeting, so I feel like it would fit here on this channel. But as far as the taxes go, so I checked with my tax accountant, and he said, like, just right off the top of his head that he doesn't think I could deduct it as a tax. It couldn't be a tax deduction because I wouldn't be able to prove that it isn't something that I would just a normal expense I would buy. He put it so much better, but he's looking into it a little bit more. Like, maybe if there's certain ingredients that I buy to make a certain like cooking video, that I might be able to write off some of it. So it's a more complicated tax question, but wouldn't that be awesome if I could just buy my groceries, do a haul with you guys, and then it's covered with taxes? Like, that would be so cool. I mean, it's like a tax deduction. Oh, that would be awesome. Okay, next question is from Christine Wallace. Would you or David consider a weekend job or remote work to help you with your income? I admire you and your positive attitude. Yes, we would. We've looked into it, we've considered it, and it's not completely off the table. It's kind of hard for me because the way I've portioned out my work, Saturdays are for designing and Sundays are for taxes. So, or if I'm behind on orders, I use those days to catch up on orders. So I still work every single Saturday and Sunday for my job. It's the only 2 days that I don't homeschool Logan, so I really take advantage of that time to get caught up on work for Etsy and YouTube. So it's a little bit hard, and I don't know if I'd be able to find the time, but I have looked into it, and I've looked into remote jobs, things I could do in the evening when Logan is asleep, or and David's looked into it as well. So it's not completely off the table. We are considering it, but like I said earlier, we are okay at this point, and there's nothing like that. There's no big changes that we need to make in those areas right now. I want to focus on making more money with what I'm already doing. I want to make more money with YouTube. I want to make more money with Etsy, and not add like another element at this point. Okay, so the next question is from Tracy. Okay, so with another adult in the house, of course your grocery money isn't going as far anymore. Maybe Jacob can pitch in for room and board. He paid his own bills when he lived with his girlfriend. There's no reason he shouldn't contribute to the bills now. Okay, so this comment is from Tracy, but so many people said this. She wasn't the only one. I've had this recommendation many times that Jacob should pay rent or contribute to the groceries. So as far as groceries go, he doesn't eat hardly anything here. He works at a restaurant and he eats there every single day. When he's not working, he's out with his friends and he eats out and he uses his own money for that. So Jacob is not affecting the grocery bill really at all. But I have thought about this. I don't want to charge him rent right now. He hasn't moved back in with us permanently. This is just a temporary situation. He's kind of like, he's in a transition period of his life, trying to figure out where he wants to go next and what he wants to do next. So we're just giving him this like safe space to be and save up his money and get ready for the next move in his life. I always tell him, like, he is debt free. And I always tell him, as long as you are debt free and I have debt, you are wealthier than I am. It's like, I want him to remain debt free, and I don't want anything I do to be the reason why he has to take on debt. So my goal is, well, I can't do things for him that I see other parents doing for their like young adult children. I am grateful that I can provide a place for him to live when he needs it. So even if I did take rent from him, I was thinking about this, I would set that money aside for him, and then when he was ready to move out, I would give that money to him. And I might do that for him or offer, because I know that being here, his goal is to save money. So I might offer to do that just as a way to help him save money. But as far as not charging for rent, I'm not going to do that at this time. Now, if this were a long-term situation and he was going to be living with us for years and years, and you know, I think that would be different, but he's in a transition period right now, and I'm happy to help him out. So my camera overheated, so I had to take a little break, let it cool down, and I'm back. I believe I was on Jennifer's question. So this question comes from Jennifer. It is hard to know what to tell you about groceries. There are 3 here at my house, and we spend about $400 a month on groceries and household. Maybe if you did a grocery haul or for a couple of weeks, we could make suggestions that might help. So this was just one example of this comment. I got a lot of comments like this, that you guys need to see my grocery hauls in order to like help me figure out how to save money. So that's something I think I should start doing. So I'm planning on doing that. But also, Jennifer, awesome for you that you're able to spend $400 a month on groceries and still like cover everything. I would love to know what you're doing. Like, I feel like the people who are being successful are the people who should share their ideas with us. Like, what do you get for $400? Like, how many meals does it cover? What kind of meals does it cover? Like, I would really like to know this stuff. So Jennifer, if you're willing to share an answer, you know, in the comment section, please do. We would love to hear. How are you spending $400 a month on groceries? How does that work for you? Okay, so the next question is from Carrie Walden, and I actually know Carrie in real life. She was Logan's daycare provider for several years, and she and I have been friends for a long time. So hi, Carrie. So her question was, question for you about things like buying lotion, because I mentioned last week that I was going to buy lotion at Target. How do you decide what comes out of miscellaneous versus coming out of your spending money? So as a general rule, if it's something that's like a justifiable expense for living, like shampoo, soap, conditioner, lotion, things like that, if it's a justifiable expense and not like a luxury item, it comes out of miscellaneous money. Our spending money, we save for things like if we're out of food money, but we want to go out to eat, we might use our spending money. Or if we want to buy something just for ourselves, like I'm not doing this now, I'm checking out books from the library, but back when I would purchase books, that would be something I might purchase. Or if I want a clothing item, even though clothes are a need, usually when I buy if I buy myself a clothing item, I use my own money, my spending money for that. So yeah. So if it's deemed a necessary expense for life, miscellaneous. If it's deemed a luxury, it's spending. And then last question comes from Ugg. I think that's how you say her name. Have you discussed with your husband about him finding a better paying job or getting a second job? Yeah, we have. We've talked about that. So David's backstory is he used to be in part of corporate America. He has a degree. I forgot the name of his degree, but he's a graphic artist, and he ran a graphics department for a huge company in Des Moines for many years. And he was laid off, and when he was laid off, he was so happy. He felt so relieved. He started looking for another job right away. He didn't have a lot of luck finding one, so he ended up taking this janitor position just as a temporary thing to bring in a little bit of money while he continued to look for a job in his field. And when he did that, he became really happy. And he said he didn't realize how unhappy he was at his other job until he started doing his new job. He felt appreciated because the students and the teachers and the administration, they all appreciated him so much for the work he was doing. He said he was never thanked or appreciated in his old job, and he had no idea how much being appreciated did for him. I think it probably helps a lot of people. If you're appreciated, you want to stick around more. So he felt appreciated. It was good for him. He had been at a desk job for over 20 years, and that was really bad for his health. He lost 80 pounds in the first 6 months of working there. I don't know how much he's lost total now, like over 100 something. Like he's much healthier now that he's not sitting at a desk all day working, and he's up moving around. And then the third thing is he is an artist, and when he was working as a graphic artist, it killed his love for art. He never did his own art anymore. He hated doing art at work because it was commercial art. It wasn't his creative art. So taking on this job, he was able to do his art. He does his art for students. He draws like things on the board or pictures for them when they have special requests. But he also creates his own art. I'll insert some pictures for you guys to see all the beautiful pieces of art that David creates. He's an amazing artist, and he's really, because he doesn't have that stressful job anymore, when he's not at work doing his physical job and he comes home, he has time to work on his art. And I am so happy for him. And that actually happened before I decided to leave teaching, a few years before I decided to leave teaching. And I was really inspired by him to not just stay on the grind and keep doing a job that made you unhappy because it made money, but instead trying to figure out a way to live within our means so that I could have a job where I was happy. Like David's the one who inspired that whole idea, that whole journey for me. So I would never ask him to give that up. I would never ask him to quit his job. He's very happy with it. He has talked about bringing in extra income for other places, and I encourage that if he wants to do that. But having a happy husband, we've been married for over 20 years, and having a happy, healthy husband, I just can't put a price tag on that. So no, I'm not trying to make him go out and get a higher paying job or make him take on a second job to bring in more income. I would rather bring in more income myself with Etsy and YouTube. So that's where we are there. Thank you guys for all of your questions. I had so much fun answering them. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and I will see you all again next time. Bye everyone.